different ways of honoring a life evolves almost daily, and yet people still have certain preconceived notions about what they can and cannot do at a funeral service. So in today's segment, we get some straight talk with two funeral directors who are changing those perceptions. Joining me again, Jeff Edwards and Beth Buxton of Edwards Funeral Service. Thank you for both being here again.
Thank you.
It's interesting that we're talking about this, Jeff, because people do have preconceived notions. It's all they've known. They can't, I don't want to say think out of the box necessarily, but that's what we're talking about. There are so many other ways to do things. Let's start with that religious perception. If a person doesn't belong to a church, what can they do in order to remember that person's life?
The options are unlimited. I mean, I'm finding families that are asking us, what can we do? And we're doing a multitude of things. We're doing celebrations of life. We're holding traditional funerals, if you will, in non-traditional locations. We held a full service funeral with the casket present in a local park, and then went to the cemetery. We didn't use the funeral home or the church. So the options are unlimited, especially when you add food to the end of the celebration, if you will.
So it's the same type of thing where family and friends are gathering, Beth, but what they're doing is they're doing it in a different place, but they're still doing it to remember someone they loved.
That is true. A lot of the services that we have that are the non-religious, if you will, ceremonies are very personal and they're very unique because the families take it upon themselves to really plan what they want that's meaningful to them and their family and what really represented that person's life. So it's a true celebration of the life lived, not focusing so much on the death.
And as Jeff indicated, it's not always in a funeral home, but it can be.
That's true. We've had services in banquet halls. We've had services where there's been cocktail parties and piano playing. We've had services in the park, as Jeff stated, that are beautiful, very natural. And most of the time, those families are spiritual in a sense, but maybe not in an organized religion sense of spiritual.
Jeff, you also mentioned that in some, the casket is brought there and from there gone to the cemetery. But is it other ways as well? And can the family gather without any of the traditional funeral things behind it, but they're just having their own special time?
Yeah, we do that all the time. The question I'm asked the most is it legal to do this? And,
How interesting.
The solution, I mean, the answer to that is, yes, there's really very few rules as long as it's not illegal or immoral. It's an option. Some of the most, things you would think is the most I wouldn't say outlandish, but the most unique is what we're seeing people do or want to do and not know that they're even allowed to do it.
So they're seeking permission, first of all.
In a lot of ways, they are.
And then once you give them that permission, are you always surprised at what some folks come up with and how they want to remember someone?
We are. I mean, we look at our job like a wedding planner, except we don't have the 6 months or a year to plan the event.
It is an
We
event.
have a couple days, and it's our responsibility to make it happen for the family so that it's a memorable event.
What kind of guidance can you give folks, Beth, whether it's traditional or non-traditional? Because for many people who haven't pre-planned, it is a very busy time.
It is. If you haven't planned this type of service in advance, you do sometimes have time to do so. As we discussed earlier, you can take weeks if you want to plan, especially if you're not looking to have a body present. If you're just wanting to have maybe a cremation, a memorial present, or maybe just pictures and memorabilia. I've had families bring things in such as motorcycles, recliners with remote controls because that person loved to watch TV, just something that represents that person's life. So we can really put something very nice together for a family fairly quickly.
But Jeff, then who takes over that role of leading services if there isn't a religious person present?
I'll let Beth answer that question.
Okay.
She's best with the
Yes,
celebrant.
we do have a celebrant on staff. There are people that have went to training to become life celebrants, and many funeral homes in town do have celebrants on their staff personally. So what those folks do is they lead the service, if you will. They MC it, they guide the family, they coordinate it, and really help the family have a very nice program of events. Anything from songs to dance to, I've had families scrapbook at events. So it's just a really nice time, but that life celebrant can really add something to that service.
And as you said, guides everyone through the day and through that celebration.
That's right.
Great ideas, and I'm glad that you tackled some of those misconceptions out there, Jeff. Beth, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Gail.